Hey everybody, Daniel Fusco here, and welcome to today's 2-minute message. I remember many years ago hearing a quote by Albert Einstein. And listen, Einstein is pretty much universally known as one of the greatest minds, modern minds in America. And I remember when I heard this quote, I was always like, wow, that's a pretty amazing quote from Einstein where he said, I want to know God's thoughts because all the rest are just details. And I mean, this is the guy who, invented all sorts of things that we didn't know before or understood things we didn't understand before. But I started thinking about, I just want to know God's thoughts. And I can tell you where you can find God's thoughts. God's thoughts are found in God's Word. And so for Einstein, he could have just picked up his Bible, read from Genesis to Revelation. He would have received God's thoughts. And I want to encourage you, in all the wisdom and all the information that we have today, and all the knowledge that we can get our hands on, I want to make sure that you are thinking God's thoughts, and God's thoughts are found in God's Word. It's not going to be found anywhere else. Now, don't get me wrong. You can learn things about nature, and God has a general revelation in the things that God created, but God's specific revelation is found in His Word, which is the Bible, from the book of Genesis to the book of Revelation, what encompasses what we commonly call the Old Testament and the New Testament, or everything before the life of Jesus, and then the scriptures of the life of Jesus and the first generation of the early church. And if you want to know God's thoughts, you need to be a person who really is grappling with God's Word. And so I want to encourage you to do that, because most people own a Bible, but most people don't read the Bibles that they own. And so I'm here to tell you, we want, like Einstein, everything else is a detail. God's thoughts is what matter, and you will find God's thoughts in God's Word. So that's what I do. I want you to share this video. I want everyone to be thinking God's thoughts by reading God's Word. And in the comment section, what are you doing with the Bible? Tell me how you're reading it, how you're studying it, the different resources that you're using to get deeper into the things of God, because we want to know God's thoughts, and it's found in God's Word. And of course, Jesus is the living Word. And as we know God's thoughts, it will drastically change the way we live and move through the world. And God bless you today.